Have you ever thought about how much it would suck to live in like a superhero's main city like Gotham City or like Metropolis? It just seems like a really bad place because always just crap's happening and your city's getting destroyed once every couple of years by some supervillain. And honestly, pretty often just like things are just happening that are just really bad, kind of sucks. So yeah, I don't know. I love how people are like, man, it'd be great to live in like Gotham City. And I'd be like, no, I'd rather not. Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to That Manga Dude's reading log for the good old fashioned month of October 2023, where I read not as many volumes as I have been recently, but considering that I went on vacation for 7 days and I was gone, didn't read anything, I think I did pretty okay considering the circumstances. So really excited to get into a lot of the volumes that I did get to read, so let's get started right now. Okay, so first up, if you watched my September 2023 reading log, I discussed a lot about Claymore. I read up until the last two volumes, which are the first volumes that I read in October, are 26 and 27 of Claymore from Norihiro Yagi. And yeah, I think this was a fairly good send-off for this series. I had a really great time reading it. I enjoyed it from start to finish. A lot of the characters are very memorable. Helen is my favorite character and continues to be my favorite character even at the end of the series. But I really like Claire's journey throughout the entire series. I really like the character designs. I like a lot of the battles are really fun to read and watch. And yeah, I think overall it was a very fun series to read through, and I'm excited to own and have it and be able to reread it sometime in the future. But yeah, for now, those are my first thoughts on it. I think it was a pretty good series. Definitely going to be interesting to reread it sometime down the line and see how I feel about it later. Alright, up next, I read one volume of Yona the Dawn. This is volume 4, and this is where we get to meet one of the other dragons. I believe he is the blue or like the azure dragon, if I remember correctly. And yeah, we get some interesting like thoughts and stories about how the dragons are incorporated into their society specifically, where the white dragon, he was very much loved by his community. He was seen as like basically a god. And the blue dragon, not so much. But it's interesting how the main cast reacts to him and how they're willing to incorporate him within the group. And I guess we'll see that in volume 5. I do have volume 5 and 6, but I don't have any more. So I'm kind of waiting until I get some more of those volumes before I continue to read the series. But decided to want to read just another volume of it and see how I still feel about it. And yes, I'm still very much enjoying Yona the Dawn. It's a very good shoujo series. Alright, up next, I decided to read Swans in Space from Lunlun Yamamoto. So, this is volume 2 of a Udon Kids-like series, and while I very much like reading it, it's a really cool full-color manga, I have to admit, I cannot dodge around this. This series is probably one of the worst printed series I have ever collected in my entire life, and let me show you why right now. Okay, so first of all, see how it's kind of like, I need to put this in the camera. See how there's like a huge gap right here? Well, while I was reading it, oh, there we go. Oops, oh no, I just basically pulled it all off. Yeah, so I bought this new, and this is how it goes. It's pretty unbelievable, to be honest, from a fairly big publisher like Udon, or at least big within books. They do a lot of art books, of course, and they do good manga. They have like summertime rendering and stuff like that, but I don't know what they did with this one, but it's not good. This print is really bad, and I'm kind of disappointed. I wish it was better because this manga is actually really fun. It's a really nice full color manga about these two girls who basically just do like odd jobs around the space because basically they're like enforcers in order to like help the communities that they visit. So yeah, it's a cute series, but man, I really wish this print was a little bit better. But so I can't really suggest picking it up, but if you do get the chance to read it, I would say give it a shot. It's pretty fun. Alright, up next, I decided to read the next volume of Battle Angel Alita that I own. This is volume 3 from Yukito Kishiro. This is the absolute classic series. Classic cyberpunk, sci-fi, action series following the story of Alita, who is appears to be a former battle robot, now turned like kind of like good character. In this specific volume, this is where we're doing like the racing stuff. So if you know what I'm talking about, it's cool. But I'm not going to go into much more detail. Still a really good series. I've been really enjoying it, and I really need to pick up more volumes because I think it's done again technically in this Kodansha format. So we'll definitely be on the hunt for the next couple volumes. After that, I decided to read my mainstay of my reading logs. This is Twin Star Exorcist Volume 22. by Yoshiaki Sukeno. I talk about the series all the time, so I'm going to keep it pretty brief here, but yeah, continues to be a fantastic shonen series. Battle action, ton of fun, love it a lot. That's about as much as I can say about it, and yeah, can't wait to see the new forms that we're getting for some of the characters as we move in through the series. Alright, up next, I decided to read the next volume of Witch Hat Atelier that I had. So this is volume 9 by Kamame Shirahama. I am really close to being finished with this. I think I have 2 more volumes to catch up now, because volume 11 just recently came out, so I definitely have to read that soon. But as you can see, it is a Will Eisner winner. I still think this is hilarious that this is like a little banner thing that they add. I'm still contemplating doing that video like eventually, where I just talk about like weird advertisements slash things that appear on covers of series or back covers. It'll make more sense if that video ever decides to come out, but that will be up to my discretion, I guess. So yeah, anyways, that had nothing to do with Witch Hat Atelier. Witch Hat Atelier Volume 9 is fantastic. Like I always say, it's a really great series, perfect for kids, adults, really anybody of any age. I think it's accessible to a lot of people. I think the series is got a lot of wonderful themes that are tackled very, very well. And overall, it's just a really gorgeous manga to look at. I mean, that's to be seen from the cover, but it's even better on the inside. So yeah, definitely give this series a shot if you have not already. All right, up next, it's Komi, Volume 27 from Tomohito Oda. And yeah, as I always say, it's Komi. Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Oh man, anybody who doesn't watch my channel will probably be like, why is this guy like not talk about Komi at all? And that's just, I don't know, it's a running gag that I've continued to roll with, and it's just gonna be like that, to be honest. I don't really have a reason for it, it just is. Up next, I read Aane Bashi Volume 2 from Yuki Suenaga and Takamasa Moe, and yeah, this series deserves all of the hype it gets. It is a fantastic series, currently releasing in Weekly Shonen Jump. It's wonderful, it's great, the art is fantastic, the characters are awesome, the setting is pretty cool, the story is a ton of fun, really, really enjoying it. I think this series is a must pick up for anybody, just to give it a shot in general. I'm really enjoying it, and I cannot wait for Volume 3. Alright, up next, went a little bit old this time. I read Flame of Rekka Volume 5 from Nobuyuki Anzai, and yeah, we get into like this like tournament arc coming into this one. So interested to see where we go with this tournament arc. But it's just cool to see more of the characters with Rekka and his squad just beating the crap out of people using their cool little elemental powers. I don't know, it's a fun one. I think it's underrated. I'm also behind the times by like 25 years because the series is pretty old, but it has I've heard a pretty good anime, and obviously the manga adaptation is good. If you can get your hands on it, you should definitely give it a shot. It's pretty fun. Alright, up next, I read the big chungus known as Okinawa from Susumu Higa. So, I mentioned this in my pickups video for September, I think. Yeah, for September, of course. This is the inaugural physical release of Manga Splaining's, like, publishing thing, but it obviously through the help of Fantagraphics. They're the ones who published the actual book, but this is Manga Splaining's first like foray into manga publishing, and what a great manga to start off with. So this is a fantastic mix of stories written by Susumu Higa. Some of them are his like actual life stories, others are ones that he heard and saw and decided to elaborate on about various people who lived in Okinawa, so during the occupation, a little bit after the occupation, and other times, but overall this is a really sobering and interesting look into post-war Okinawa, and basically war, current or during the war, World War II specifically. So it's really interesting to see like what was going on, I guess, behind the scenes in Japan during the bomb droppings and after the war. There appeared to be a mix of feelings towards the Americans, of course, and even towards the Japanese forces. So very, very interesting read. It's very long. It took me quite a few hours just to get through all of it because it's just a lot to read, but overall it's a fantastic. If you like your historical mangas, I would say definitely give this a shot. Alright, up next, definitely not historical at all. If my favorite pop idol made it to the Budokan, I would die. Volume 2 from Arui Hikaru. This is probably the longest title manga that I have in my entire collection. I might have to fact check myself on that. I think it is. But yeah, this one's kind of funny. It's basically a comedy series, or like a comedy sort of rom-com, kinda. series about basically this group, this idol group, and the people that follow them. They are an underground idol group, so they're pretty small, but the fans that they have are extremely ecstatic about them and love them so much. And our main character, this girl here, Eddie Pio, is basically like in love with this idol, Mina, who is, where is she? Is that her? I guess that is. I don't know. Anyways, she's somewhere on this cover. That's my fault. I probably should know this off the top of my head. But yeah, it's a cute series. It's kind of fun. We're starting to see some sparks fly between some characters, so I'd love to see it. And yeah, hopefully we get some more in Volume 3. Alright, up next, so I actually read a few volumes from my fiance's collection. So first off, I read all of Angelic Layer in one shot. So volumes 1 through 5 from Clamp. This is the original Tokyo Pop printing, or I guess the whatever print from Tokyo Pop. And yeah, this is a cute series following the story about these two girls, well, this girl on the front here and on the back. And yeah, it's basically like a robot fighting league kind of thing where you get to fight your angels. And yeah, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's cute. I think some of the stuff in there has kind of aged somewhat poorly, but I think overall it's very fun. The action's actually pretty great. I'm actually really impressed with Clamp's like art style. I think they do action very, very well. And I think it's important to note that like, yeah, this series is a ton of fun. And yeah, glad to have finished it. I will definitely be reading more Clamp stuff in the future. What series next? I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to be going with Magical Knight Rayearth because I know it's coming out again soon. And also one that I've also read already that I will be talking about eventually, but it was also talked about in the FVI. So if you've already watched that, then you know what I'm talking about. Alright, up next, another one from my fiance's collection. That is Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko, Volume 3 from Hitoshi Ashinano. And yeah, this continues to be an absolutely remarkable release. I love this series so much, and I can see why it was beloved by so many people and why people wanted it in America in English print for a long time. It is gorgeous, it's beautiful, there's a nice peaceful calm that comes to it, but also a nice reflection on death and the apocalypse, and like if you were to live in this like post-apocalyptic world, how would you live your life? So there's just a lot that goes into it, and it's just really well written, it's beautiful, the art is great. And this volume just continues to be fantastic stuff. So yeah, really enjoying it, and I can't wait for Volume 4. Alright, up next, I read Dan Dan Volume 5 from Yukinobu Tatsu. This one's got the fight between this weird family and basically the main cast. And yeah, it continues to be absolutely bonkers and crazy and insane. If you're just into just crazy action all the time, comedy that's kind of stupid but also really funny, I'd say give it a shot. It's really fun, and I really like this volume. The series continues to be really, really great. Alright, had to take a little quick water break, but we are back. So, next, I decided to read Spy Family Volume 10 from Tatsuya Endo. Yeah, finally got a new Spy Family volume, and I read it almost immediately. And yeah, this is actually really cool because we finally get some backstory about one of the main characters. So this is about Lloyd's background and how he became part of the spy, or became part of his, like, what do you want to call it, his job. How he becomes a spy. It's really sad, but it's very, very well written, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm really happy with like how we're pushing the character forward. We get some more information about Lloyd, why he acts the way he does. Yeah, I just really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited for Volume 11. Alright, up next, one of the ones that I read for my FVI of October 2023, this is Boi The Rock, Volume 1 from Aki Hamazi. And yeah, as I mentioned in my FVI, this was really fun. I had a great time with it. It's really stupid, it's really like funny across the board. It's a 4-coma, so it's going to be 4 panels per like story, or what you want to call it. Some of them obviously go into more panels, but for the most part it's 6 to the 4 panel style. And yeah, I think it executes it very, very well. It's a lot of fun, and I've heard the anime is also great, so I would say give it a shot if you like comedy series. Alright, up next, I decided to read another thing for the FVI I already mentioned. This is Betwixt. So this is a horror manga anthology featuring artists that are using both the Western and Eastern style of comic writing and creation. So it's really cool. It's a ton of fun. I think this is an amazing release, and it'd be really cool to keep getting kind of stuff like this, where we get artists from both, like, you know, Japanese manga artists as well as like artists who use a Western comic style. because it'd be really fun to check it out. I don't know, I really enjoyed it, and I think this is one of Viz's best releases in a while. It's a ton of fun, and this is just a really nice release too. I like hardcovers, so what can I say? Really cool art as well, just across the board, and yeah, just a beautiful print. I can't stop praising it. It's so much fun. It is so good. Definitely give it a shot if you like horror stuff at all. Alright, up next, I decided to read the classic Hunter x Hunter, Volume 37 from Yoshihiro Togashi. Lo and behold, we got it. We did it. We got another volume of Hunter x Hunter in this year of 2023. And yeah, I decided to read it. And, well, as I've mentioned over the past couple of volumes I've read of Hunter x Hunter, slash Hunter x Hunter, whatever. I call it both ways. I'm sorry. You can hate me. It's fine. I get it. I don't know how I feel about the series currently. I think that it's getting really hard to remember everybody because there are so many characters that are doing things in like this current arc, and it's getting a little bit confusing, especially because we really haven't seen any of the main characters other than Kurapika in a long time, because Kahlua is not in the story for right now. Gon isn't either, and Leorio, rest in peace, he's not really even a character or main character anymore. But it is a little bit difficult to keep track of all this, to be completely honest, and I think obviously some of it is you could pay towards like, oh, these volumes release so far between, it's kind of hard to remember, things like that. But yeah, I'm definitely having a more difficult time enjoying the current arc. But I still think it's good. I still think it's fun. I bet if I was reading this, like if I had decided to do like a reread of this like arc, it would be a little bit easier to remember things. But as it stands now, yeah, it's definitely not my favorite arc. And this volume was okay. Alright, up next, I decided to read a new shoujo series. This is Tomons Bide from Yuki Shiwasu. And yeah, this follows the story about a girl who is a cleaner and is absolutely in love with this like idol group. She is down bad, super down bad. It's hilarious. And she gets transferred to like this new like home to go clean, and lo and behold, it is her favorite idol. So she has to clean for her new favorite idol. And yeah, she comes to find out that maybe he's not exactly what he seems like on stage. So it's really funny. I think it's really cute. It's very stupid, and yeah, I don't know. It's very enjoyable. I think it's like a ton of fun. The comedy is weird and also like just good. I don't really know how else to explain it. Definitely just give it a shot if you like idol group stuff, or if you just want a comedy that's like, I would say it's kind of like Uramichi, I think is what it's called, where it's like the guy who's like super depressing, but he's also like a kids teacher program thing. So it's kind of akin to that. So yeah, if that's what you like, I'd say give it a shot. Alright, up next, I read Night of the Living Cat Volume 3 from Hawkman and Mecha Roots, also known as Cat Max Furry Road. Yeah, this is quite the series. I've talked about it a couple times throughout my different reading logs, and yeah, this one just recently came out, and it is so funny. This series is super funny, absolutely hilarious. Actually got me dying laughing, where I had to stop reading for like a couple seconds. But yeah, basically the premise is they live in a world where one cat has basically become this like thing where if he touches another person, or if he touches another person, he becomes a cat. So it starts to spread around the world. So now it's a post-apocalyptic world where there are cats everywhere, and these people are just trying to survive without becoming a cat. It's really stupid, but it's a ton of fun. The art and the way they like show things is obviously overly serious. That almost like it's campy. It's very campy. But like the comedy is always there. This series knows exactly what it is, and it executes it fantastically. It is so much fun, and I cannot wait for Volume 4. Alright, up next, I read The Ice Guy and the Cool Girl Volume 1 from Yuki Tonagaya. I talked about this in the reading log, but yeah, this was a fine and dandy office rom-com. It's cute. I enjoyed it. If you want more information, definitely just go check out the FDI. I will talk about it more there. And another one, like I mentioned, another Clamp series that has just recently gotten a re-release. That is Tokyo Babylon Volume 1 from Clamp. Like I mentioned, this is from the Clamp Premium Collection. I talked about this in the FBI, but just to give you a quick heads up, this is a cool, fantastic series. I really enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun, and I can't wait for Volume 2. All right, not from the good old-fashioned FVI, from a previous FVI. This is the next volume. It is Windbreaker Volume 2 from Satoru Nii. This series is awesome. I love it a lot. The action is great. I really liked like the arc that we're currently entering in, or whatever you want to call it. The fights are actually really well choreographed and just really well done across the board. This series is just a ton of fun. The writing's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's got me hooked, and I'm having a great time with it. So hopefully you're enjoying it as well. Alright, up next, I decided to read the next volume of Kaiju number 8. This is volume 8, so number 8 of 8. But there's definitely more than 8 volumes from Naoya Matsumoto. Fun series. I actually have been enjoying it a lot. I will say, my friend and I were talking about this like a few months ago, and he was mentioning that the current what he was reading, which would have been right around here, we're not really focusing on the main character as much anymore, and that kind of bummed him out. And I can tend to agree somewhat. I still think the series is a great time, but I do wish we had more time with Kafka, who is the main character, the guy on the frontier. But yeah, I definitely wish we had more time with him, but I'm really liking that the other characters are getting their time to shine, and they're getting some interesting powers as well. So still a fun series, and I can't wait for Volume 9. Alright, up next, I decided to read a volume that I picked up when I went back home last year, and I came to find out this is the only volume of the series that came out out of 5 in English, probably because the publisher went defunct, but that is from ADV, and this is Dream Gold, Nights in the Dark City from Tatsutoru Nakanishi. Yeah, I don't know. I read through it, and it was like, some of the art's really cool. It's actually really unique in terms of its style. I think it suffers from a narrator who is explaining too much, not letting the series develop. And I don't know if that continues throughout the volumes. I'm going to assume it does. But it's really like plagued by that. It's plagued by some pretty poor paneling as well. There are some times where like it's really difficult to figure out what the hell's going on. I think is the best way to put it. There's just a lot of information thrown at you, and it's like kind of difficult to truly understand like how you're supposed to like read it, because it doesn't follow I would say your typical like manga/comic conventions where you're supposed to read in a certain direction. It really breaks that sometimes, and it makes it difficult to read. So overall, I would say it's not my favorite. I am curious as to where the story's gonna go, but yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Alright, up next, I decided to read Give Her Back to Me from Hana Chitani, Glacier Bay Books, one of their newest releases, if not their newest release. I think it's one of the newest ones, but yeah, this is a really short story. It was really cool. Features a story here from Hana Chitani, like I mentioned, an artist that's living in New Zealand. So yeah, this is a really cool release. I liked it a lot, and I think it was such a fast read that it makes me want to read it again soon. It's definitely a really creepy, like, kind of eerie story. And it'll make you feel a little bit sad. It'll give you a nice range of emotions, but the art is very good. I will show you just the first couple pages so I don't spoil the story, but yeah, I really enjoyed the art, and obviously Glacier Bay Books' typical releases looks great, and it feels great to read. So overall, fantastic. I would say give it a shot. It's actually really good. Alright, up next, I decided to read the next volume of Shonen no Boi, Soprano from Yuki Kamatani. And yeah, I've mentioned this before, but this is probably one of my favorite currently releasing series. I think it's a fantastic one. The art is gorgeous. Yuki Kamatani is always killing it on the art front, but the storytelling is also really good. I think it's like, it's a good way to incorporate an ensemble cast and make you care about the people you should care about, while also being able to enjoy the side cast without having to be super invested in them. I think it does it really well. I think the main antagonist is also very interesting, very complicated as well. So overall, this is a great release, and I'm really excited to keep reading this series, and I can't wait for Volume 6. Alright, up next, I decided to read the next volume of Bungo Bingo Stray Dogs Volume 6 from Kafka Asagiri and Sango Harukawa. So, we are continuing on with the war between the three main factions, and it is definitely ramping up. I'm really liking the abilities that a lot of these villain characters have, because it makes the series more interesting, and I like how it harkens back to whatever the author they're named after is. So it's just overall, it's a really cool series, and yeah, I'm going to keep reading it and enjoying it. Alright, up next, Alison Borderland Volume 7 from Haru also. Bada bing, bada boom, we are in the end game for this series. At the end of this volume, they mentioned this is the last game they are going to play, and I am super excited for it. It's probably going to be 2 more of these big volumes, or 3 more, but I am hyped. This series is super awesome, and this specific volume was super sick. We get an ending to one of the specific arcs, and we go into one of like the big ace fights, one of the big king fights. It's intense, it's frightening, terrifying, really keeps you on your toes, gives you goosebumps throughout the entire read. Overall, really great, and definitely excited for the next volume. Alright, up next, I decided to read the second volume of Apothecary Diaries from Natsu Hyuga, Neko Kurage, Itsuki Ninao, and Tokushino. Yeah, this is actually really, really good. Like I mentioned, I've mentioned it once before when I picked up the first volume and talked about it. But yeah, this is a really good series. I heard that the anime is pretty good. Although the adaptation is not perfect, there are definitely some things that it loses in the anime for some reason, where they change some of the angles and some of the characters are not as intense as they are in the manga, which is a shame because I think this series is really, really good, specifically for those like super dark moments. It's a really good one. Basically follows a story about this girl who's obsessed with making medicines and poisons, and she basically becomes hired to become a food taster for one of like the queens or concubines or whatever. I'm not really sure. I always forget what their names are, but yeah, she's great. She's a fantastic main character, and the series continues to be really cool. So we'll definitely be picking up more volumes when I can find them. Alright, up next, decided to read Cinderella Closet Volume 3 from Wakana Yanai. This one gets a little crazy. Some drama gets spilt. The tea is flowing. It is whack. And man, there are definitely some cracks in the armor of a variety of the characters, and yeah, definitely interested to see where we're going here, because there is a lot of drama now being built, and I don't know where it's going to go, to be completely honest. Alright, up next, I decided to read Volume 2 of Mokuren's, I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that, Volume 2 of The Summer Hikaru Died, and yeah, this is a fantastic volume again. Oh, this series is really great, and I can see why people were like shouting, screaming, pissing, crying that this was going to be coming out, because yeah, this is really good. Keeps you on your toes, definitely will make you a little creeped out. There are definitely a couple more like horrific moments in comparison to the first one. It also has a very hilarious awuga moment, if you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, well, just get to the part about the tree and you'll definitely understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, fantastic series, love it a lot, and I can't wait for Volume 3. Alright, up next, I decided to read Volume 4 of Shadow's House from Somato, and whoa, they really opened a can of worms in this one that like has opened a variety of questions that I'm like now completely shocked about, and I don't know how to feel. I'm feeling conflicted in a good way, to be honest, and really interested to see where this story continues to go, because at the end of like the current arc, we're entering into this next section where there's going to be some crazy stuff happening, hopefully, and yeah, definitely interested to see where it goes. It is really, really great. Alright, up next, I decided to read Volume 3 of Tokyo Aliens from Naoe, and man, this volume was the continuation of a really massive cliffhanger in Volume 2, which I'm not sure, to be honest. I couldn't tell from the storytelling whether or not something was going to continue to happen from Volume 2 to Volume 3, where it would have been consistent or had continued to be a thing. But yeah, our main character finally gets some cool powers, and we get some really cool fights. The series continues to be pretty cool. Definitely going to be picking up Volume 4 at some point. Alright, let's continue. So, up next, I decided to read 2 more volumes of Soul Eater. So, this is volumes 11 and 12 from Atsushi Okubo. This is his classic series that has received a lot of praise over the years for a variety of reasons. But, yeah, this series is really flippin' awesome. I enjoy it a lot. I decided to take a break on it just because I was trying to find more volumes, and I have. So, I continued to read it, and I'm glad I did, because, yeah, We get some more character developments. I'm really liking like how there's like kind of a split in terms of how characters feel about the current situation, and how we're developing new powers as well. So overall, this continues to be a really fantastic one. Volume 12 specifically is hilarious. There's a certain moment in this one where they infiltrate a specific like team's base. And it's just a really funny moment. I think Okubo does really well in terms of like illustrating why this is like really funny. If this makes sense, if you have read this volume, I'm trying to keep it as vague as possible, but if you know what I'm talking about, it's very funny. I don't know, I was dying. Alright, up next, I decided to read Kimi ni Todoke Volumes 3 and 4, From Me to You, Karuho Shina. Really cute series that I am super much enjoying. Oh man, it's a lot of fun. I like Sawako a lot. She's so cute. She's so adorable. I think her friends are awesome. Especially Chizuru, I think is how you pronounce her name, or something like that. She's my favorite character, and yeah, the series is great. Just a cute little rom-com about this girl who looks like a horror character, so that they call her Sadako, I think, or Sadako, which is basically like a I think it's supposed to be like The Ring. I don't remember specifically, but yeah, it's great. Or maybe it's The Grudge. I don't know. It's one of the Japanese horror films. But she's super adorable. The art is really cute. I like the chibi status that this author draws. This one, like these faces, they're so cute. Oh, I don't know. I love them so much. You probably couldn't even see. I'm pointing at nothing, but whatever. If you saw it, or if you've read the series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I love Kimi ni Todoke, and I'm really excited to keep getting volumes for this. Alright, up next, I decided to read all of Mugen Spiral. There's only 2 volumes. This is from Mizuho Kusanagi. This is one of Yona the Dawn's mangaka's other manga. It's only 2 volumes. It's pretty short and sweet. It's fun. I wasn't like super locked in with it. It was cool, I guess. Some of the action's pretty fun, but like, yeah, the characters are pretty shallow. There isn't a lot of time to develop them, which is unfortunate, but overall, I would say it's a pretty cool read, and it's interesting to read another Kusanagi work. So yeah, I think it's worth taking a read if you like her work. Alright, up next, I decided to read Skip and Loafer Volume 8. Da-na-na, da-na-na, from Misaki Takamatsu. We are at the next volume, and I'm so excited for it. It's been a pretty long wait for Volume 8. Definitely get a roller coaster of emotions in this volume. I was kicking and screaming, almost angry, and then very much bittersweet feeling. But yeah, really enjoyed this volume. I think it develops the characters in a significant way, especially with our 2 main Boy and Goyle. I loved it a lot, and I can't wait for Volume 9. It's going to be a long and painful wait, but this volume was fantastic, and I'm really glad I read it. Alright, up next, I decided to read Laidback Camp Volume 1 from Afro, and honestly, this was great. This was a fantastic first volume. I absolutely loved it, and I'll tell you why. So, I've mentioned it every once in a while here and there, but I was in the Boy Scouts for, 12 years. I was in Scouts for about 12 years, from age 6 to 18. And I loved every minute of it. I thought it was great. It was a fantastic program. I know a lot of people have their qualms about it, and that is totally understandable. But my specific experience, I had a very good time. I met a lot of lifelong friends there, and continue to talk to some of those people like to this day, and just some unforgettable memories. And specifically what I'm talking about is that I went camping a lot because of Scouts. So this series was a nice like refresher on camping, because I haven't really gone camping in a long time, but it was really nice to see like a series that actually like focuses on how camping actually works, because most of the time you really just kind of get a gloss over in a lot of series where they're like, oh, we're just gonna go out into the middle of nowhere and whatever, but this one like focuses like, oh, there's a lot of information about tents and camping and sleeping bags and how to set things up, how to travel, how to like go to these various places. So I think it does a really good job of showing what makes camping so much fun, and also what makes it fairly expensive and kind of complex in a way. But overall, this is a really great series. I really enjoyed this first volume. It was very, very good, and I'm excited to keep reading it. Alright, up next, I decided to read Osamu Tezuka's Atom Cat, which is a weird meta kind of series. Basically, this kid is in love with I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, Astro Boy, also known as Adam, and he finds this cat, and this cat unfortunately gets like killed, and these like aliens find him after like they hit the boy and they hit this cat, so they take him to this like lab, and they like, okay, we need to be able to rebuild this cat. Let's try and figure out like through this boy's memories, and all of the boy's memories are of Astro Boy or Adam. So it's about them developing basically this cat that is now basically Astro Boy, and also known as Adam Cat. And yeah, it's weird, it's kind of meta, it's decent. It's not my favorite thing that I've read from Osamu Tezuka, but it's still a good time. I think it's a fun one to have just to check out every once in a while. Alright, up next, I decided to read Kowloon Generic Romance Volume 5, Jun Miyazuki. Holy crap! There is a massive, massive cliffhanger that ends at this volume, and I don't know how to feel about it. I'm still trying to process it. Jun Miyazuki, why have you done this? Wow. I really don't know how to feel or what to even think about the ending of this volume, but it's a lot, and I'm going to be thinking about it for a long time coming. But yeah, fantastic volume. Can't wait for the next one. Alright, next I read Volume 9 of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Volume 9, like I mentioned, from Kanehito Yamada and Tsukasa Abe. And yeah, we get this interesting story, basically of like the Midas touch kind of thing. And very curious about what this demon is. He's extremely powerful. Kind of curious as how they're going to finish him or beat him. But that's it. The entire volume is about this guy here, and these four trying to figure out how to defeat this guy in order to end the golden like city or whatever, the golden era or something like that. So yeah, very fantastic volume. I love this series a lot. It's a great time. Go watch the anime. Alright, up next, I decided to read Oki Rhetoric, Volume 4 from Ritsu Miyako. Fantastic mystery series, and yeah, this was a really good volume. I've been really enjoying the series. I think it deserves a lot of praise, and I'm like kind of bummed that people aren't reading it for some reason, but if you give it a chance, it's a ton of fun. It's a really good mystery series, and with really relatable characters, really great characters across the board. It's a good time. I've been really enjoying it. Alright, up next, I decided to read this absolute tome of a volume because I wanted to read something horror. Drifting Classroom, Volume 1, or at least the giant Volume 1 from Kazuo Umez. This is a really beautiful release, just saying. I'm not a big fan of these giant releases. I don't like reading them just because I have to kind of read it like this. But overall, yeah, it was creepy, it was weird. Follows a story about this, like, basically this school where they are suddenly teleported to like the middle of nowhere. They're surrounded by sand, everything is dark and sad, and they have to try to survive and scavenge, a la Lord of the Flies, a la Battle Royale in a way. Mix those two together. I would say it leans more towards Lord of the Flies, but yeah, overall, fantastic volume. I was hooked, could not stop reading. I read this thing in a couple hours. Honestly, it's a pretty fast read even for how big it is, but definitely worth it. It's really cool, really creepy, and excited to get the next two volumes for this. Alright, and last but not least, I have read this specific volume of In Your Pasta, Volume 4 from Rumiko Takahashi. This follows the part of the Thunder Brothers, if you know what that is. And it's a really cool fight, honestly. I really like Inuyasha, and I've been really enjoying reading it in this old-fashioned way where you have to read it left to right instead of right to left. But yeah, overall, it continues to be a fun series, and really enjoying it. I think I left it on the back burner for a long time, mostly because I was like, ooh, Rumiko Takahashi, isn't she like a shoujo author? And I don't even know if that was true back then, to even have that kind of thought process. It was stupid, it was dumb, but here we are, at least I'm reading it now. I'm almost caught up to where I was in the anime, and it's a ton of fun, honestly. I really enjoy Inuyasha, and can't wait to keep reading it. But that is going to be the end of this one. yeah, what did you guys think of everything I read? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy everything that I did read? Have you read any of the things that I read? Let me know in the comments below if you've read any of them and how you feel about them. Very curious as to how your opinions will be differing from mine or be similar. But yeah, that's going to be it. You know what to do. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Those are all wonderful things to do. Really, really appreciate it. This channel's growing a lot faster than I was expecting. I'm getting closer and closer to 2,000 subs, way faster than I got to 1,000. So thank you to YouTube, I guess. And also thank you to all of my fantastic subscribers, the people who comment, the people who just watch these videos. Really, really amazing. Really, really appreciate it. You guys make it worthwhile to keep recording, to keep having fun, keep reading manga. It's a good time. But yeah, if you didn't do any of those things, like, comment, and subscribe, thanks for watching this long video about manga. Really appreciate it. But that's going to be it for this one. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.